Angela Pinky Swear Peters.
And I'm Latchkey Laurie Schultz. We were born in the 70s.
We're children of the 80s.
And had our coming of age in the 90s. You know, the good old days when kids could be kids.
When music had real instruments.
And when no one ever seemed to worry about carbs.
If you want a flashback to simpler times, buckle up.
Wait, seatbelts? Where we're going, we don't need seatbelts.
Well then, just grab your Jolt Cola, smell that teen spirit, and hop on our big old banana seat bike to take a spin down memory lane with us.
For we are the best generation that ever was.
You're listening to Generation X-Rated.
The Survivor Stories.
Hey, Laurie.
Hi, Angela. What's this sound? Help me out, Mike. No.
You might be on your own.
Ding, ding.
All right.
I just want to see you do it a little more.
That to me sounds like you're trying to connect to the interweb.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
That was really hard. That's
It
what
was
she
hard to...
And really not that good.
No, it wasn't good. We did it earlier, and
do
you
better.
didn't.
You do better.
You
then.
do better. Come on.
I don't know.
I feel like there was like boom.
I did it better earlier.
Yeah.
We'll try again.
Okay,
later.
this
a lot.
is
Before
really
we end
horrible.
the episode, we'll give it another go. I just need a palate cleanser.
I think a lot of people probably ended the episode already.
Fair. They're like, I'm not waiting for them to talk because that's going to take 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then how much more of this do we have to listen to? Jesus.
However, when we first heard that, it was pretty darn exciting, but I think I was going on the internet like once every 2-3 days. Like, it was not a thing.
No. Because
Probably
you had
it
to.
took so long.
Well, you had to basically abandon your phone line
Oh, that's
for that. You know,
right.
It was one or the other. It was either the internet or have the phone line accessible.
I wasn't interested in losing the chance that someone was trying to call me.
Some boy was trying to call you.
So, this episode is stepping into tech, is what we
Let's step
kinda
into
decided.
tech.
Because we are of that gorgeous generation that lived without it.
Yeah.
We had tech, obviously, there's lights on in our house.
Yeah.
But like the biggest thing in our house was going from a rotary phone to a push button phone. Like that was like, what?
Yeah.
And then computers happened and it was like, what? And then now here we are, obsessed with them.
We went from cassette to CD, from VHS to DVD, and then everything else that's come after that. You know how much money we have spent in just keeping up with tech?
A lot in the last 30 years,
Yeah.
probably. And now it's all digital.
We are the generation that had to, we were the guinea pig generation for that.
This is where we're broke.
Yes, we had to
spent it
replace
all
everything.
on replacing things that
We
just
re-
came out.
We replaced Beta with VHS and then DVD and Laserdisc and then Netflix and now everything else and then Fire Sticks and this and that. Oh, I can't handle it.
I feel like this is going to be a hard episode for you, Laurie.
Yeah, tech's not really my strong suit.
That's okay, but you still experienced it.
I did.
Do you remember where you were when you grasped the concept that there was another world out there that was connected in a way we never knew about?
Yeah,
Where were you?
in my basement in my house on Herbert Ave when I got my first internet hookup. And
by internet hookup, you don't mean like online
no, I
dating?
wasn't dating. No. I was utilizing
when
our
you were
phone line,
dial-up.
our dial-up,
You were
our internet
dial-up.
dial-up.
Checking your AOL.
I didn't have AOL.
What?
I don't know what it was. It was something else.
Think about that, because everyone had AOL.
But I didn't have an AOL email.
What was your first email address? Do you remember? Or God, do you still have it? Is it like haunted?
I think it was
girl?
spiderbutt at hotmail.com, I think.
Not spider butt.
I think it was, yeah. At hotmail.com.
Mine was Snangy Angie.
Snangy Angie?
Because nothing rhymes with my name. And in university, this guy was like, we're just going to call you Snange. Snangy Angie.
That's
And
nice.
that's when I needed my
endearing.
first email address.
Ew.
Ew.
Snangy Angie.
Snangy Angie dot something dot dot. Hotmail? Was it Hotmail back then?
Probably. I had Hotmail.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could check it once a week and you'd be fine. Like, it was insane how nothing was coming
No,
through.
nothing.
What was the first thing you searched up? I remember I didn't understand or grasp the concept of why we needed this.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a business thing. Like,
Yeah.
corporations were sending email, and that kind of blew my mind. And I was like, hey, whoop-de-doo. But, like, what do we do? Why do we need it?
I remember being in my last year of high school, and we all went to the library in the school.
You got
and
them around
was,
the one computer.
there was a little computer lab.
Oh.
So we had it booked, our class. And we experimented with something called Pegasus Mail. And it was almost like instant messenger. And so we were all attached to each other. So we could send each other these messages sitting at our own seat in this computer lab. And it was mind-blowing.
Right.
We're like, how are we doing this? I'm seeing what you're writing right now. I've just sent you, hello, I'm behind you. Ha 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 ha. It was wild.
Right. What was before that seemed techie to you?
My Walkman.
Right? It was never, what I think what kind of blew our minds or what really was the communication ability.
Yeah.
So you could definitely like steal music eventually from Napster or whatever it was.
LimeWire, baby.
And find stuff, information. And that also, like, I'm a very literal person. So I was like, someone has to enter all of the information of the world onto this thing. Like, can we trust it? Am I responsible for any of these things? Do I need to load in what I know? Like, I hope not. But it was the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
I think.
And I don't know, as somebody who was an essay writer, and my degree was in history, it was kind of that time between going to a library and looking at a card catalog and microfilm, and then bouncing over to the internet and researching like journals and stuff that were actually on the internet.
Right.
That's crazy.
But even then, there probably wasn't a lot on there, was there? Would it just be like official websites kind of thing?
I guess. I don't know. I was in university in the early 2000s.
Right.
So I don't know. I was late going. So I don't know what it would have been like. When I was in college, I didn't really have the internet. That's when I got my first cell phone. And that's when I got the internet, was in college.
Right. So I think before internet was cordless phones were pretty wow for us. Cause
Yeah.
we could walk around. But then, yeah, it was also cell phones or flip phones started to come out around the same time.
I had one of those Nokia. It was like, looked like a
Flip
big
phone?
black rubber thing.
Oh, same.
With a
Motorola
little-
or something? Or
It was Nokia.
was it?
Yeah, and it had like a little tiny rubber antenna.
Yeah.
And it probably weighed 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was pay as you go.
Oh.
It was crazy.
I remember the first text message I got. I had some really techie friend in Toronto, and she sent me this, and I was like, what?
Why would anybody do this?
Yeah.
Just call me.
What on earth do you want? It was
Yeah.
like, hello. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't even want to respond because you had to, like, go with the 3. Like, on the number 5, you had to
Right.
do 3. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. And it was 15 cents every text you sent.
Yeah.
People don't believe that. Kids today are like, yeah, right. No. And you had to pay 15
They'd be
cents
so broke.
for every text.
It was also for every phone call you made outside of your city.
Yeah.
It cost money. Like, I racked up some phone bills.
Yeah, me too. That was pretty insane.
I also didn't believe online shopping was ever going to go anywhere. Like, when we could first shop online, I actually lived in the States, so I think it was easier. But I remember getting all these deliveries, and I was like, this is never going to go anywhere.
Well,
Little did I know.
your penchant for prediction is, yeah, it's not
Really
good.
bad.
Not good.
Yeah.
But do you online shop now?
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
I've got some Amazon things in my doorway right now that have to go back. But just the amount of stuff that has changed
Yeah.
since we were children. If you would have told me at 5 years old the stuff that we'd be doing right now, that we'd have cars that park themselves
Right.
or drive themselves, which I don't agree with. I think we are really dumbing down our society by having all this tech that's supposed to be helpful. The second it breaks, people are useless and don't know how to get from A to B because they've never learned how to park their own car, or they've never learned how to parallel park or to back out of a space. Yeah, don't use the camera. Figure out how to back up using your mirrors, because it's much better to have the skill and then use the camera as a little supplement than to not have the skill and rely on tech that's going to break, because it will eventually.
Do you think that makes you sound like really old?
Yes.
Talking to the youth?
Yes.
Because, like, you sound like when my grandparents were frustrated with a lot of stuff that we were saying, like, you could just do this, and they're like, well, why would I? Like, I think we probably sound like that to the kids, because I do remind my kids a lot. I lived before the internet.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, we know. You tell us all the
I'm
time. Like,
older than
but,
Google.
like, but think of that. Like, think of that. Like, we had to learn stuff
Yeah.
from other people, and you had to, like, if you had a question, it just wasn't answered. You just went on with your day.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even cope. If I watch a show, I will Google someone like Bruce Willis, like whatever, net worth. How old is he? How tall is he?
Yeah.
Like, I need to know all of this. When before, I just would watch the stupid movie
Right.
and be living in mystery.
I think tech did not help those of us who have ADHD.
No, not at all.
No. I think it, under the...
Well, and there's
some
the
people
whole
say it does, but no.
concept of rabbit holing.
Yes.
I don't think I would ever dive deeply into the library to find like everything I could about.
No, set up camp there.
Right.
But in the stacks.
But as a kid, I think I really appreciate now like the tech that wasn't around, even though there was a lot going on. I remember the first song I heard on headphones and all this stuff. Like I'm glad we went through that, but I'm also glad like having kids who've lived with iPads and seen what they went through. It's like, I'm sad because yeah, they're really great at entertaining themselves, but there is a disconnect between
Sure there is.
socializing. And you teach kids, you've
Yeah.
seen it yourself, but
That's why I
this is
don't use
turning
a
into
lot
a
of...
very deep episode.
Well, I don't use
but
a lot of tech in the classroom.
That's
For a
good.
reason. Because when my kids go home, they're on TikTok, they're on video games, they're just on the computer or watching Netflix all night long. So I'm not going to do that in school. They can do other things. They can have conversations with each other. They can collaborate. They can
Have
do
you
things
taught
by...
them how to pass notes? Because remember, that's how we communicated in
Oh, yeah.
school.
Do you like me? Check yes or no. And then that thing, that foldable thing that...
A cootie catcher.
A cootie catcher.
is that what it was called?
Yeah.
A cootie catcher?
Yeah.
Who made that up?
Is that
Somebody
what it's
not
called?
with
The
cooties.
paper thing? I had a whole stack of those. Do you like me? Yes or no? And I just handed them out to like see how many yeses. I
Did
would
you get them dittoed?
Ditto.
Yeah, the ditto machine. Remember the ditto machine?
Oh, you mean the copier?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not where I thought you meant. But yeah, I remember smelling that.
Yeah, that was great.
The ink smelled good.
Just the predecessor of the
And
photocopier.
it was purple. Usually the ink was kind of purple. And it was hot. If you got to be the kid that go pick it up from
nice
the
and
office.
warm. Oh, and you got high on the way back because of
Absolutely.
the smell of it.
Did you have that, Mike?
I've never heard of a ditto machine.
Ditto machine? No.
No.
Dittos
That's new.
means like again and again and again.
Yeah.
So it was the copier, but
Just like in the movie Ghost.
but it was really pre-industrial. It was like it would be like, and you just prayed you'd get picked to go get the pack of paper that the office had to do. So you would, and it was warm, and it had a smell of ink, and you were like, and it was all it wasn't even black ink. It was purple,
It's purple
dark
ink.
purple, and you would just be like huffing. You're not knowing what you're doing or why you love it, but you're huffing. So you come back and you're like, here you go. And the lines were blurred. Like, no one did well with that, but we
No.
all remember that. I don't
Yeah.
think they picked the same kid every time because they were probably like, why does he keep
We're giving this kid
volunteering?
brain damage.
No one knew about brain damage back then.
No,
I don't
that's
think.
true.
They were smoking in cars with kids. It's
I remember them smoking in the staff room at school.
yeah,
We don't do that anymore.
certainly not.
No. What? Not just the ditto machine, but what else? The reel-to-reel projector. Remember when that thing came in the classroom? You just knew that it was going to be a good day.
It was a great day when they brought. And did any teacher, no offense to teachers, ever know how to operate the damn thing?
No.
So every time
not our
Mrs.
job.
Zapazinskis brought it in, they reeled the card in, and we were like, yay! And then we were like, half an hour later, just calling like tech support, which wasn't called tech support. It was
No.
like Mr. Whoever, come fix this, Mr. Audio Tech.
The
whatever.
one teacher who knows what he's
He
doing.
comes in and they're like,
Well, yep, same
how
shit
did they?
today.
They must have loved when VHS came out. 'Cause they were
Yeah.
like, how hard can this be?
And then, Jesus, man, when that thing rolled into the classroom, or you showed up in the morning and that TV was in your classroom,
Yeah.
it was going to be a good day.
It didn't even matter what they showed.
No.
It was just like, oh, numb out, amazing. Yeah.
Some
And then I
little,
could pass notes easier.
yeah.
See who liked me. I got some no's. It was awful.
Did you get some maybes added in?
No, there was no option. You're all in or you're all out. There wasn't changing minds. If it said like no scratched out, then yes. It's like you had to think about it. No, you're done.
Yeah, because you had the option of being super picky, huh?
No, I just was like, I knew what I wanted.
And you go for it.
I knew there might be some yeses from down the row.
Hold out.
I did.
Hold out for the
Not
yeses.
for long.
No. All those
If
bottles
it made
were
it
spinning.
to the teacher, oh well. Maybe he was cute.
Wow. That escalated
Listen.
quickly. Yeah, we don't do that anymore either.
No. That's good. Please have that stated loudly. We don't do that.
Yikes. What else did you have
Were we talking
tech-wise?
about the internet?
The internet, yeah, and like AOL, Messenger. You have mail.
Can I say, I recall the very first time I ever went on the internet, and I was probably in grade 4 or so.
so
And
cute.
I remember going down to the library, and they tried to explain it, and I didn't understand what it was, but they handed me this giant, like, phone book. And that was the Google. You flip through this book, and I wanted to learn about the Titanic. I remember was the first thing I looked up because I didn't know anything, and I just thumbed through it, and I saw Titanic, and I knew what that was, and you had to look at the book and at a letter at a time, H T T P colon.
Oh, and it
slash,
had the website.
and you had to manually type in the whole website for what it was you wanted to go to.
So, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Don't
That
you
was the
still
first
have
time.
to type in the address?
Well,
But you can
click
just
a link.
Google
You can
now,
click a
and
link
Google
go.
bring everything up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Could you imagine going to your Facebook page and having to type
No.
www.facebook.com/13862 whatever your code is for your
No.
Facebook profile?
Do you remember though when we all decided to shorten and not say www anymore? Because I got not shamed, but there was a younger girl that owned a business in the town that I lived in, and I went in and I was telling her about this website, and I'm like, it's www. She goes, oh whoa, you don't have to say that anymore. You're just like, blueshirts.com, and I'm like, but how's anyone gonna know? She's like, they're gonna know that's a website because you said .com, and I was like, what is going on?
Right.
The W. She's like, well, you still gotta write it. Maybe you don't say it anymore.
It's implied.
And I was like, well, pardon me.
Yeah.
I get it.
Bite me, kid.
Yep.
What did you guys think of YouTube when it first came out?
I was afraid of it.
That came out in like the mid 2000s, I would think, right?
Again,
I think wasn't it
going to go anywhere.
YouTube became the person of the year in 2006.
Yes, I do remember that.
I was in teachers college, and we had this big discussion of how we can use YouTube in the classroom before anybody really knew what it was. Before influencers were even a thing.
Right.
Are they even really a thing?
The official start date, it was accessible, first launched February 14th, 2005. That's YouTube.
I don't think I used it much.
What would, if you could go back and tell young Angela and young Laurie that one day you would have the ability, anyone would have the ability to start your own television show out of your own home, produce your own show and put it out there on YouTube, and anyone can watch it and you can make money off it. What do you think
is
you
so
would have
fucking
thought as a
good.
kid?
I would have,
you wouldn't have believed it.
I would have written
Sign
100 pilots.
Me up.
Sign me up.
My own
I was
platform?
already making my own TV shows in my head. I was like, oh,
Right?
totally, let's do it. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I really do sometimes wish that I had had some of that stuff back in the day because I was a hyper creative person anyway. So I just thank God I had journals. But I had my uncle down the street had a camcorder, and me and my cousin, if we were allowed to touch it, we made commercials. We made these funny little skits and commercials. My aunt still threatens that she has them, but I never even did it just for like tape my sports games or whatever I was playing. I was like, no, I was making stuff up then. So I would have killed it on YouTube.
Yeah, I think so. Me too.
Oh, you would have definitely.
When I was in high school, I took the English media course, and I had to do commercials in that. And when we did commercials, I also did music videos in that. But these were on the camcorder. But also, it was editing, like machine to machine. It wasn't just on a computer screen with like iMovie. We're talking reel to reel splicing tape. Even when I was in college in the radio program, we were still splicing tapes and editing things together that way. But I wrote this commercial for it was called Loosen Up, and it was a video for Loosen Up was a laxative.
I was just gonna say it, but I didn't want to like be rude.
It was a laxative.
Wait,
of
there
course
was a
I did.
music video?
No. This was not a music video.
Oh, okay.
This was just a commercial for a fake product that I had to create
Oh,
called Loosen Up. And there's me running through the school trying to find a bathroom and trying to edit all this together. I could have been if I had stayed with the tech thing, I probably could have gone a little farther with it than I did.
There's still time.
No, there's no time.
Okay.
No, I can barely figure out how to log into our email and get our Instagram going.
I do feel like the learning curve's gotten way too big because it goes too fast.
Yeah.
So even when I was helping businesses in marketing, I became like way too exhausted with updates and changes and now this and that. So like it wasn't going to be a long-term thing for me because I was like, I just figured it out and now you want me to do what?
Yeah.
And now, and again, having kids, it is helpful because I do get them to show me stuff, but my kids edited a video for TikTok once and it was just them, horsing around or whatever, but they did it so fast.
Yeah.
And it was still like a year later before I could figure out how to edit like, a reel or something for my business. And it was like, oh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's so fast and it's so in their, it's just, I don't know what the word is.
They speak the language.
Yes.
Just very naturally, they speak the language.
Yeah.
And we're still on that
if we
seesaw,
had those
right?
tools as a kid, I think you and I'd be super famous.
We probably would be.
Soup's famous.
Were you guys on MSN Messenger?
Yeah.
Instant
Yep.
messaging back and
Oh,
forth?
yeah.
What about ICQ?
ICQ.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? You could
I remember
message
what that
and
was,
go,
yeah.
No, I don't know that.
I think I had that. I don't
What
remember.
is ICQ? Was it a messenger thing?
Yeah.
It was very similar to MSN, same idea,
Yeah.
but it's I seek you, ICQ.
Oh, see, it would have taken me a while for that.
Yeah.
I do remember I had 1 year before I was married, I had my own apartment, and I worked with a bunch of women at this place, and I don't know if I was in a group chat, because I don't know if I knew if that's what it was, but I was talking, and I knew some of my boss or whoever, was in there, and all of a sudden she's like, hey, you're online, and I couldn't figure out how she knew that. And it freaked me out, but it was the first time that I was literally I was looking, was there, I had no idea. She's like, your light's green on your thing. And I was like, what?
How do I turn that off?
Freaked me, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And because I didn't want her to know it. I liked the anonymity we had before
Yeah.
internet. Because you could do, you could just go anywhere and be anywhere and you didn't have to make up shitty excuses. And
Well, yeah, and people now are they're messaging you at 10 o'clock at night because they see you're online. I'm online because I never log out of my stuff.
yeah.
That's
So
why I'm
not really
online.
there.
Don't message me at 10 o'clock at night saying, oh, well, I saw you ignored my messages. Nope. I've been in bed for 2 hours at this point.
Yeah.
I'm always logged in.
I don't know how to actually take myself offline if I am on, I don't know how people can set it to.
Yeah.
Because my kids are always like, you read the message. I'm like, how do I stop that from happening?
Yeah.
I read tons of messages. I answer them in my head. I think you've listened to it or gotten it.
Right.
You haven't. I haven't even communicated with you because I'm used to calling from a phone on the wall. And I'm like, I'll meet you there
booth.
tomorrow at 4. Done.
Right. Finding a phone booth. Trying to do that now. And they're $1 if you do
Pardon?
find them.
$1 to
Make a
use a
phone call.
payphone?
Yeah.
Did they have to upgrade all, weren't they 25 cents? They
At
could've
one
just
point,
left it.
yeah. They could have.
I suppose there's some people that need
They could
one.
have left it, but
Imagine being out without my phone. I'd be in total panic.
some people don't have phones. I think it's very presumptuous to assume that all people can afford
Yeah.
a phone.
Yeah.
It's when our society now says that you must be able to do this online. Well, not everybody has access to online unlimited.
Yeah, and there's still my boomer parents who refuse to do anything online because their identity will be stolen.
But they are right. It could be.
You
It's
sound
not.
like one of them now.
It's not as safe as people just haphazardly throwing all their information out there.
I think the Afghan's making you
I'm wrapped up in an Afghan
crotchety
right
and
now.
old sounding right now because you're like, everything's bad. On the
I get my tinfoil
interwebs."
hat after too.
You should totally get
Not
tinfoil
everything's
hat.
bad. It's just that I don't like the fact that we are supposed to be accessible 24/7
Oh,
with the new
that's been a
technology.
huge problem. Yeah.
Because I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't check my work email in the evening, and I don't check it on weekends.
Yeah. You do
I
need
used
boundaries.
to. Like I used to all the time, and then I would just get sucked into work stuff all the time. I'm like, no, can't do it. Gotta have some boundaries.
And a lot of people like don't accept that because they're just like, but you could like you. And
I could
it's
do a
like,
lot of things,
You
but
have
I
to
don't do it.
really, yeah, but you do have to set boundaries up pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, people messaging me at 11 o'clock at night or whatever, that's fine. You can message me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're messaging me at 11 o'clock at night, I'm responding at 5:30 tomorrow morning. So you just go ahead and send that message. Yeah.
That's how you play it.
That's how I play it. Because I'm the old lady who's up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
There
Right?
you are with your Afghan on and
Yeah. I got one of my legs too.
you cold.
I'm snuggly. I
Well,
sound
for
like an
our
old
one
lady, right?
listener that we have, it got extremely cold today for the first time. I think this was the first day where everyone that came in the store was like, "Oh God, it's cold, it's cold, it's so cold," and I was like, "Ooh, it's winter."
We had a thunderstorm.
Was that today?
No, on Monday.
Oh yeah, I thought I heard a thunder today, but I do remember it the other day. I
was
love
wild.
storms.
How do we have a thunderstorm in November?
This is how bad tech is like I will look at my phone to check the weather
Yes.
before I look outside.
Yes.
Because I will look, I'm like, well, why would I look outside when I can just see what it's going to be like all day?
Yeah, just check the radar on the Weather Network.
When I was a kid, you had to wait for the 6 o'clock news to find out what the
And
weather
you
would
did.
be. And you did, and
You
you,
had
liked
to,
it.
and you liked it. But now, you know, I saw this. There was a book, and it was called The Dumbest Generation.
Was it ours?
No, it's the one that's kind of. I guess it would be Mike's. I'm sorry, it's yours. It was written
He doesn't
probably
know.
with yours in mind.
He doesn't know because he's a dumb
I
generation.
can live with
It's
that.
like,
Well,
okay.
I'm too dumb to worry about it.
the premise of the book is that we have these computers now in our pockets. Mm-hmm. Things that are so wildly informative, things that no one in history has ever had before. Mm-hmm. And we're using it to watch YouTube. We're using it to watch TikTok. And we're using it to play games. Mm-hmm. We're not using it to the potential. I mean, we could have information about the whole world at our fingertips. Mm-hmm. This should be the smartest
Yeah.
generation. But that goes back to my thing before, where if you constantly rely on just being able to look something up, you don't need to be an intellectual yourself.
Right.
Until that database goes down. Then what are you going to do? That's my cautionary words of, I don't know, old lady Schultz.
Do either of you own an Alexa?
No. I don't like that. I don't want that thing knowing anything about me. I probably already have an FBI file from half the books I buy.
Yes. You do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that they listen.
Do you have an Alexa, Mike?
I do, and I was
Mike.
against it for all those same reasons.
I know you
And
love
what
it.
made me think about it was when you were saying about the about
The weather.
the weather, right? And it's like the amount of things I ask. Now it comes in very handy for setting a timer.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in very handy for. We have also smart lights in our home, so when I get home, I
Are
can
we
say,
that lazy as a society? We can't turn our lights on or look
Please say
But
what
listen.
the weather is?
I will say, overhead lighting is the worst, and I'm not sitting there watching a movie with lights on like this when I can literally say, Alexa, turn it to movie mode, and all the lights go to a beautiful theater movie setting. I can go on my phone and do it too, but there is nothing more comfortable than watching TV in the proper lighting.
So then you get a dimmer switch and turn it down.
I live in an apartment. I can't put in a dimmer switch.
Aw.
Oh, you certainly
Kitten.
can. Did you not grow up with dimmer switches? Because the little knob thing, my brother and I would fight over that. We'd be like, zzz, 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 lights on, lights off, lights. Like, it was the best thing. It was the best thing that we had at the time. Like, a dimmer switch was our tech. We were
Yeah.
like, woo!
The equivalent to what you're saying to me is that you're pissy with me that I have a remote control for my TV and you had to get up and change the channel.
Nope.
Yeah, that's
Not
exactly
the
what
same.
it is. It's literally the exact
No.
same thing.
Do you remember the brown box?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Do you remember the dial? If you
Oh,
were
yeah.
a girl, it'd be like, zzz, 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 and then you had to wait for the antenna outside.
Yeah.
To like,
So going from that to Alexa, put on
yeah.
the X-Files.
I wonder how many of our audience members have an Alexa right now and it's going nuts.
Oh, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa, wrap this up.
But you know what? Alexa does scare me. I have seen or heard of people who all of a sudden Alexa starts laughing.
Well,
Yeah, like
well,
no,
Alexa would be laughing all the time if you had it.
probably.
Like, hauntingly laughing.
No, I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that. I suppose it's time for us, though, to go and see what new things are out there to order on Amazon.
Well, I'm telling you, tech changed just in the last half hour. I
Sure
bet.
did.
Like-
All our passwords are gone.
What was this episode brought to us by, Laurie?
MySpace.
Well, we didn't even get into
No.
into Friendster and MySpace.
Yeah, I think this
Another
episode
time.
should be brought to us by MySpace.
MySpace.
And if you don't know what that is, you're listening to the wrong podcast, friends.
Can you do your dial-up again? You said you were going to warm up and try at the end. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. This isn't the land of make-believe. What are you
man.
talking about? Mr. Rogers was like a couple episodes ago.
This
Ding,
is
ding.
also the part where you get offline and you check your phone for to see if there was a message waiting
Right,
for you.
that
You're
voicemail.
Like, oh, I missed a call.
Yeah, that was a big thing, too.
It really was.
Anyway, there's so much tech.
So much.
All right. We got to go. It's time to go. Bye.
Let's log off.
Log off. Bye.
If you or anyone you know is a Gen X survivor, you may be entitled to compensation. Not from us, but probably from somewhere. If you would like to connect with us, find us on Facebook at Gen X Rated, or Instagram at Gen_X_rated, and by email at genxratedsocials@gmail.com.